Look at the closing price here for the Qs and SPY. Talk about what to expect going into the end of the week here tomorrow. All right, and what to look for next week as well. Let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for August 11th, 2022. Qs down about 0.5%. SPY basically flat on the day. Now, just the percentages don't tell the full story because they were both gapping up. All right, gapping up initially on the Qs and SPY. Qs coming in and giving away the gap, actually going negative on the day here. So that is a little bit of a bearish reversal sign. I think tomorrow we may get a little bit of a bounce, maybe a little bit of an inside day first because we are pulled back to support now. Will this be a little bit of a breakout failure here? So kind of with the gap, tried to break out and came back in. I think that's the thing that we'll be watching for. So for me, for tomorrow, going to be neutral, see how that plays out, okay? Because as we've been saying for the past couple weeks, really just following the hourly chart, okay? And as long as the hourly chart stays in an uptrend, it's really hard to be bearish. And even when we do turn bearish, expecting more of a short-term pullback, okay? So, you know, the event today is definitely bearish, but we've been bullish. We've also seen similar kinds of breakouts and then pull back to the hourly support. Very similar here. You can see that tried to break out and then started the pullback as well. But the hourly, as long as it maintains this uptrend, right, hard to be bearish on this. So that's going to be a little bit of a wait and see for me tomorrow. I think that we put in a little bit of a bounce, but mostly an inside day tomorrow. That's my expectation. And then depending on how we close, that'll tell us what to look for on Monday. Okay. So yeah, shouldn't probably have expected this gap up this morning. I didn't have a strong bias on it one way or the other, but we are kind of second gap up in a row, pretty extended now from the 20 MA. And so probably not that surprising that we eventually came in, but we actually held for most of the morning, kind of held up, and then came in more in the afternoon. So, you know, it wasn't really that clear that this was an obvious novice gap. I wouldn't really say it's novice gap or an obvious kind of gap to be faded. So, yeah, I think it comes down to kind of how we close tomorrow. Okay. All right, let's get into the plays from today. So, you might have expected coming into today that since yesterday the long worked really well, that would be the focus, and that was we had a nice gap on the array, okay, gapping over the base. So I like that a lot. Array, it was just a 1 minute breakout on this. I was in this until for the back half till the end of the day there. So that was the array, just a 1 minute basing at the highs there. And then a breakout, yeah, and just in it till end of the day. It wasn't the easiest hold, but had a nice run up, took half, and then back half kept. So that was the array. Just really liked the daily, and the pattern intraday was okay. Then also played the HIMX. HIMX, give you the breakout on this one. Didn't make much on this one. This one you can see was a gap down that got bought, and then did a similar kind of breakout here. So here it is, 2 minute, see this breakout right here. Was able to get first targets on it, but then the back half came in, so that's why I didn't really make much. I did trail it underneath this base, so it didn't lose on any portion, just didn't get that far. So you can see the kind of the size of the base, the size of the run up. Not a huge play on the HIMX, but I do like this. It's a pretty high accuracy strategy, the gap bully, gap berry. But that is one of the things. They typically don't give you as big of targets because a lot of the buying gets used up in the move. So if you can get a little bit of a rest or a pullback, preferably a pullback, then you can catch the next move. They usually stay pretty strong. But in this case, yeah, pulled back. So that was fine. As the market started to pull in a little bit, I did try going after, well, a short on the 6. 6, I did play this as a base breakdown right here. I thought, this is about as tight as a stop as we're going to get. Here it is, like this. This is how I played it. Here it is off the 5. You can see that kind of like shakeout bar there. Right in there. So zoom in a little bit, just to make it easier. So I liked that a lot. We played that base breakdown, but couldn't quite get a target on it. I really was looking to see if this broke on the daily. So here's the gap. So nice shock value on this gap. I'll go with daily. Nice shock value on this gap. That if we got through the support, then we had room. That was really what I was playing it for. And then with the market weak, then I want to stay with it, and but this one ended up turning the corner. So we did trail this one over this topping tail here that reduced it to a half R loss, but I definitely was hoping it'd be a nice winner. And didn't play it for the hopes of taking a partial loss, especially with the market staying as weak as it was. There was some support on the daily chart to the left and the weekly chart. If there's one thing to point to that maybe a little bit flawed about the play, but we're going to run into that all the time. Shock value versus support, that's a common thing where, if you believe in the shock value enough, it's worth a shot. And then I thought the market timing was good on this too. So I don't really have any problems with this play. Yeah, I like the play a lot. I like the setup. I like the gap. And I thought it was worth a shot. So I'm fine with this. Didn't really work. Only, I think it was like 0.8 Rs. I mean, you could have taken some down there. It's still something, but yeah, I was looking for more. And then at the end of the day here, this EXTN, which was showing a lot of relative strength to the market was coming in, and this was basing at the highs. Similarly, we looked at that shakeout bar, kind of that battle bar on the 6 here, where you kind of have both sides showing up and kind of dealing with that 5-minute 20 MA. Right there, you see that bar? Right there, you kind of got tails on both sides, 20 MA. So similar kind of idea here on the EXTN. It was basing nicely and holding up well. And then again, you got this bar right here, kind of serving to shake out off that 20 MA. So that was a long, and then we just closed it into the end of the day there. So that was just a base breakout right here. Yeah, I mean, I like this setup a lot. Daily as well, pretty strong transition going on here, turning the corner, lots of volume coming in. So, that's pretty typical play for me. As far as bases go, you got a good daily, you got a lot of volume stepping in on something relative or increase in volume. So pretty standard kind of base breakout play. It worked out okay. Yeah, I don't know if it would have worked better if we had more time or what, or if maybe the market hadn't been so weak, because market really was just, grinding lower, and this thing was trying to kind of break out and keep on going. And so maybe if, the market had been more neutral or even bullish, that we would have gotten bigger targets on this, but, I thought it was still worth a shot, and turned out okay. All right. So those were the plays for me today. I think earnings season is starting to wind down a little bit, but I think there's still kind of plenty out there to do. Plenty that I miss. These are all plays. Some wins, some losses, some small wins, some decent wins. So pretty kind of complete picture here as far as what can happen, with these trades and what's out there. And then there are plenty that I missed that were just really, really nice. I think, what was it, the VERU, I think you could have played as a high-low at the open. That was fine. Yeah, high-low at the open. That would have been amazing. SONO, I did try to get to this. I just was too slow putting in the order on the SONO. This was a 1-minute high-low here. 1 minute. Yeah. You can see a little bit of tails on either side, narrow body bar. And if you could have stuck with that till end of day, that's not too bad. So yeah, there's plenty more out there. Yeah, just a few plays there from me. All right. Hope you had a nice day today. We'll be back at it tomorrow to close out the week, and I will talk to you then. Have a good evening.